How many of you have ever had the trouble or struggle of accepting yourself? You see, the reason is because society, not society in general, but what society has put in our minds, what it has done for us. Society has told us that we can't look a certain way or have certain defaults, as people would say, in our bodies. And it's not really our fault for anything why we can't accept ourselves, but at the same time it is. So, in my story, I grew up and I was teased a lot, mostly because of my weight. Now, society sometimes says it's not okay to be big, or it's not okay to be too skinny. You have to be a certain way, right? Or you can't have certain markings on your face. You can't have pimples or moles, or you can't look a certain way, or have glasses, or have just certain small things that society has put on us. For me, it was my weight. I was always teased or mocked or bullied about that, and sometimes I'll try ignoring it, but you can only ignore things for so long, right? So eventually it got to me, and sometimes I would try using my weight to my advantage. So if someone's like, oh, you're too big, I'm like, well, I'm big. What can I use it for? Oh, I'll play some sports. So I'll play some sports, and still they would say I'm too big. And I'm like, oh, okay. So that joy would only last for a while. And sometimes even my friends said it without even knowing, and it hurt. And another way I tried getting the joy of it was I eventually tried putting people down, because I thought if I can find defaults in them, then maybe I can, erase the ones I have. And that still didn't work out. And if you're watching and I've ever said anything bad to you, then I'm sorry, but it's just something that I struggled with. So now, going on to my freshman year, those name callings and stuff eventually stopped, somewhat, but they were still in my mind. So while no one was saying them to me, I still heard them. So if someone ever looked at me weird, or just kept looking at me for a long time, I would think, is it something that I'm doing? Is it because Is it because of my weight? And also, before high school, I hit puberty, and that's when acne hit in. And of course, that was another thing that can pile on. And then also, I acquired this eye twitch, and I never knew where it came from, but I couldn't really control it. It's all my emotions triggered it. So those are the three biggest things people could make fun of me for: my eye twitch, my weight, and my acne. So going to freshman year, those are the three things I was scared about. If someone looked at me, I would ask, is it my eye twitch, is it my weight, or is it my acne? And I wouldn't really know. And sometimes they weren't even looking at me. They're probably looking away, but I would be so scared of what they thought about me. And during that time, I wasn't really with God, because I was, as you can tell, I was thinking about all those doubts and stuff. But going from my sophomore to junior year, I read this verse, and it stuck with me. And it's in Isaiah 43, verse 7. It says, "Everyone who is called by my name, whom I created for my glory, I have formed him, yes, I have made him." That verse, it just blows me away. I'm not living here for men's glory. I'm here for God's. I'm made for him. So it doesn't matter what people think about me, because I'm not here for their pleasure, their entertainment. I'm here to work for God, to be his witness. So that's how eventually I got over those name callings. Now, it won't be that easy for some people, and it wasn't easy for me. It wasn't just after that verse, I'm like, okay, good. I'm good. I don't care about these thoughts anymore. I still had to, struggle with them. But just knowing that you're a child of God and that you're here for his witness and his job only, not for anyone else, why pay attention? People are gonna hate because we are believers, we're Christians. But I find that my strength. So I want to challenge you guys to find what people think your defaults are, or your mishaps, or just something that's happening in your life, or something that's in your bodily features. I want to challenge you to ask God from all your defaults and stuff. Ask God, how can I use that to share for Christ? And you might say, well, how is that possible? Well, Well, think about it right now. Through this video, I'm using what happened before, all this teasing and stuff. I'm using that as power. I'm using it to share with you guys that it can go away, it can change, that you can become stronger through Christ because of those name callings eventually. So that's what that can happen. So don't always rely on people's thoughts about you. I mean, you're here for God. So I want to challenge you to accept who you are. Ask God, how can these somewhat defaults people call me, how can I use that to share your love?